the founder of Nike, the world's most powerful sports shoes and business genius. Phil Knight has transformed the American dream of young, strong sports shoes into reality. Confident with his belief in himself and his unending creativity, from his ideas and ambitions, he has built a world-famous sports shoes empire and become one of the world's most powerful billionaires. The world's most powerful sports shoes. Phil Knight grew up in Portland, a western city in the United States near Seattle. As a teenager, he dreamed of becoming a world-famous sportsman. He ran well and was represented by the University of Oregon in the competition. But he was not really excellent to become famous in the sports world. Many years later, Knight graduated from journalism at the University of Oregon. His activities stopped temporarily after a year of military service. He returned from military school. Knight was named a Master of Business Management at Stanford University. While studying business, he wrote a business plan himself, describing in detail a plan to continue to develop that business. Since then, business has attracted him more than ever. And he realized that what he wanted to do was sports shoes business. To carry out his ambition, Knight went to Japan to learn about culture and style of business. He was always wondering what had made Japan so fast after the war. During his stay in Japan, Phil Knight not only studied Asian culture, he also went to the mountains of Fuji, visited the Onitsuka factory in Kobe, where high-quality tiger shoes were produced. He began to think of another strange idea, which was the import and business of tiger shoes from Japan, turning dreams into victories. After many years of living in Japan, Phil Knight returned to the country as a partner in the Tiger Shoes Company. During many years, he was an accountant and used his free time to sell shoes all over the west of the United States. In 1964, Knight contributed 4 shares with Bill Bowerman, a sports coach. Each person spent $500 and founded the Blue Ribbon Sports Equipment Company, the predecessor of Nike. Both were not satisfied with the pairs of shoes. They decided to design and manufacture their own shoes. As an inevitable weakness, Phil Knight faced many difficulties because on the sports shoes market at that time, Knight's shoes are like a small fish. It hangs around 2 giant whalefish, Azidat and Rabal. Both their huge fins can beat small fish like Knight. However, Knight still persevered and intervened in the market. He did not give up. He put quality first and spent his time selling goods to improve his accounting duties. Overcoming the initial challenges, his business became more and more successful. In 1971, he decided to quit his accounting career and devote all his heart and soul to his business. First of all, he changed the company's logo and chose Nike as the brand name for his product. Nike is the god with wings, symbolizing victory in Greek mythology, and that is also the dream of the founder. In the 1970s and 1980s of the previous century, Nike grew rapidly. Profit jumped from $28.7 million in 1973 to $867 million in 1983. In 1982, the Air Force Model Company, the first line of Nike with Nike Air, with a bag at the heel, with a mat and support for basketball players, this model quickly became one of the sneakers of the era. The Nike brand is the most popular in all times. To this day, millions of pairs are still in stock every year. With outstanding success, Nike has passed the face of the giant Aziz, the #1 exclusive in the American sportswear market. At the same time, he also gives a low price for his stock on the stock market. You are watching the video on the Famous Person channel. Don't forget to join the group to share your ideas with us. Details below the video. One of the biggest achievements of Nike is the contract with the legendary basketball legend Michael Jordan. The Air Jordan model has become one of the most successful handball players of all time in the sneaker field. Nike pursued Jordan in the early 1980s when he was a basketball star at the university, and gradually entered the world of the NBA Basketball League. Jordan agreed to a 5-year contract worth $500,000 a year, a number that had never existed in the NBA. The NBA is a brand that has been around for more than 20 years. The number of basketball players has not been the same since 1985, a number that had never existed at that time. The fact is that Nike was not wrong. A short time later, Jordan became a symbol of the American youth, and as a natural gift, Air Jordan also became the most popular of the majority of young players in this basketball kingdom. The company also tried to create a long-term relationship with the king of sports, the football, by sponsoring World Football Championships and famous players, such as Ronaldo of Brazil. However, in his fierce attack, Nike exposed his weakness, and rival Reebok did not miss the opportunity to defeat this young knight. But while Nike was just focusing on developing running shoes and baseball shoes, Reebok silently attacked the women's aerobic shoes market, a market that Nike had forgotten in his business strategy. And no matter what, 7 years after standing on the throne, Nike was defeated by Reebok in 1987. The world of football is now a world of football. After the founding of Nike, it was not a good idea to keep the conservative. Not feeling good about the defeat, he took the initiative to carry out his attack by changing the code in a more diverse way to meet the customer's need. And once again, Nike came up not long after. Knight was once given the title of the most powerful person in the sport kingdom. Many people admired him, but some people also thought that he was a great player, but the most famous was the star of the sports stadiums. But perhaps the most correct thing for him was a person who was able to keep his faith and not stop creating to overcome the wind of the market. In the 1990s, Phil Knight made a hard-to-believe highlight for the sports market, with crazy sponsorship contracts and super impressive ads. Next, he and his team turned the top sports into the throne of equipment and fashion. However, not long after, Knight was recognized as the best player in the world. The market was in a state of crisis, and the competition was getting worse. The demand for the company to have a new management system, if not to be destroyed, was increasing. In response to this demand, 600 out of 2,000 employees left, and Nike stepped into the process of restructuring. Knight decided to set up a market research department to find the needs of consumers, increase advertising costs, and pay more attention to design according to the needs. He once expanded the market for Nike, and he was able to do so by creating a new marketing platform. The product not only has running shoes, basketball shoes, but also has all kinds of shoes for other sports such as golf, tennis, basketball, women's shoes, and outdoor shoes. But the market is like a battlefield. The opponents always seek to cooperate to attack and replace Nike, and the event at the 1992 World Cup was the most glorious proof. That year, the American Dream Team basketball team, sponsored by Nike, refused to wear the World Cup uniform because it had the logo of the team on it. The team was called the Dream Team. The result was that Nike's opposition was spreading everywhere. They said that the company had used money and force to divide the world's sports. Then, a group of self-proclaimed Made in America, which means American production, made a claim to destroy Nike because the company always manufactures products abroad at a low price. The peak of the difficulties fell in 1997. The time of the economic crisis caused serious consequences. Many stores were closed. Many stores were closed, and many stores were closed. The company was unable to sell its products. Many stores worth billions of dollars of Nike were dead in the warehouse. Meanwhile, the external financial pressure was ever more severe. The situation was getting worse and worse. And so, after a period of giving the right to manage others, Phil Knight had to return to direct running the company. In 1999, back to the position of general manager of Nike, Knight gave strength to many talented young managers. The unceasing efforts of Knight helped the company overcome the storm and keep going. Everything that was good at Nike suddenly collapsed in 2000. Naturally, the young American class was addicted to the shoes that the young man used to love. The number of changes was reversed with the rise of production costs. Again, Knight's item had to be raised. He developed a new information system, managed reasonable supply lines, and what was needed was to find famous faces. New superstars to update the identity of the era. Knight did what he had to do. The end of the financial year 2004. The company's profits increased more than 27% a year earlier. Uncertain passion. Despite success, Knight himself still pursues a closed lifestyle in the style of the Japanese. His actions have readjusted the chair of the general manager to Bill Porrest. The former general manager of the consumer company, S.C. Johnson & Sons, and the former chairman of the board of directors, who has confirmed that. Knight added, "At this point in my life, I am more interested in creative work than business. Today, Knight is a world-class billionaire, but he still loves everything that Nike brings, even if it's just a penny. To him, It is a precious achievement. Although he is only 70 years old, but it seems that his youth and enthusiasm are still intact in him. Although he is only 70 years old, Mr. Knight still says that the confidence in himself will not be possible without your eyes. At the age of 3, he is also a subscribers, with thousands of followers on YouTube and Instagram. He does all that for his industrial channel logo has appeared as Asan, Global 12 Zero Satru, in Sao. Don't forget to click the subscribe button below to support the group.